There's a moment that happens every year for some people, a moment that most of the world celebrates but that they quietly hope will pass unnoticed. It arrives as a date on the calendar, a number that's supposed to mean something, and instead of anticipation, there's a subtle weight in the chest, a desire to minimize, to deflect, to let it drift by as if it were any other ordinary day. You know this feeling, don't you? The discomfort that rises when someone remembers, when they ask what you're doing to celebrate, when they expect you to want attention, cake, candles, wishes. And all you can think is, please, let's not make this about me. You've said it before, perhaps more times than you can count. Quote_0, and maybe people laugh, thinking you're being modest or quirky. But you know it's deeper than that. There's something tender underneath, something that makes celebration feel uncomfortable, unearned, or simply too much. Now, dim those lights, get cozy, settle into your pillow, and let yourself relax. Take a breath. Tonight, we're going to explore this quietly, gently, without judgment. We're going to understand why some people skip their own birthday, what it means, and why it makes perfect sense. And as we move through this together, you'll feel yourself softening, releasing, drifting toward the rest you deserve. There's something about being the center of attention that feels fundamentally wrong to some people. Not just uncomfortable in a shy way, but deeply misaligned with how they see themselves in the world. When your birthday approaches, instead of excitement, there's a familiar tightening in your chest, a quiet voice that says, quote, 1. And maybe you've never said that out loud, but you felt it. The way celebration feels like a spotlight you never asked for, shining on someone you're not sure is worth celebrating. This isn't about hating parties or being antisocial. It's about something more tender, something that lives in how you've learned to take up space, or rather, how you've learned not to. The discomfort runs deeper than most people realize. It's woven into the fabric of how you move through the world, how you negotiate your presence, how you calculate whether you're allowed to matter. And birthdays, with their inherent focus on you, trigger something ancient in your nervous system. A belief that's been there so long you might not even recognize it as a belief anymore. It just feels like truth. The truth that you're not special enough, not important enough, not accomplished enough to warrant a whole day dedicated to your existence. You've internalized the message that celebration is something you have to earn, not something you inherently deserve simply for being alive. Psychologists have studied this phenomenon, this tendency to minimize oneself, and they've found it often stems from what's called conditional worth. It's the unconscious belief that your value as a person is dependent on what you achieve, what you contribute, how useful you are to others. You've learned, somewhere along the way, that simply existing isn't enough, that being born doesn't automatically make you worthy of celebration, that you have to earn the right to take up space, to be seen, to matter. And every year when your birthday comes around, that belief surfaces with uncomfortable clarity. You haven't earned this. You don't deserve attention just for being alive. You should be doing something, achieving something, being something more before you can justify celebration. And so you deflect, you minimize. You say it's no big deal, that you're not really into birthdays, that you'd rather not make a fuss. You tell people you're low-key about it, that it's just another day, that you don't need anything special. And maybe on the surface that's true. But underneath, there's a quieter truth. That being celebrated feels dangerous somehow. Like if people look too closely, they'll see all the ways you're not enough. All the ways you've failed to become who you thought you'd be by now. All the accomplishments you haven't achieved, the life you haven't built, the person you haven't managed to become. The birthday becomes less about celebrating life and more about exposing inadequacy, about highlighting the gap between who you are and who you think you should be. Notice your breath right now, how it's moving in your chest. The gentle rise and fall, constant and reliable. You don't need to change it or control it, just notice it. Just be aware of this simple rhythm that continues whether you think about it or not. Feel where your body makes contact with the surface beneath you. Your shoulders, your back, your hips, your legs. Let yourself feel held by that surface, supported completely, cradled and safe. Let your jaw soften if it's clenched. Let your tongue rest gently in your mouth, not pressed against your teeth or the roof of your mouth, just resting softly. Let your forehead smooth out, releasing any furrow between your brows. Feel the weight of your head against the pillow, heavy and relaxed. There's no tension that needs to stay with you right now. Your body can begin to release, to let go, to settle into this moment of rest. This pattern you've developed, this tendency to skip your birthday, it makes perfect sense given what you've learned about your place in the world. You're not being difficult or overly modest. You're protecting yourself in the only way you know how. You're avoiding the vulnerable exposure of being celebrated when you don't feel worthy of celebration. And there's something deeply human about that. Something that connects you to so many others who feel exactly the same way. This discomfort isn't a flaw in you. It's a reasonable response to messages you received, lessons you learned, moments when you discovered that taking up too much space came with consequences, that being visible could be dangerous, that mattering too much made you a burden. You don't need to solve this tonight. You don't need to understand it completely or figure out how to change it or force yourself to suddenly embrace birthdays. You can simply know that it makes sense, that your mind is doing what it thinks it needs to do to keep you safe, and let yourself rest. Let the thoughts slow down like leaves settling on still water. Let your body sink a little deeper into comfort, a little further into relaxation. Feel your shoulders dropping, releasing tension you didn't even know you were holding. Feel your chest softening, your belly releasing any holding. You're safer here. You can let go of the need to analyze or fix anything, and as you do, as you allow yourself to simply be here without judgment, without pressure, something else begins to emerge, another layer of understanding that we'll explore together, gently, carefully, as you drift deeper into rest. For many people who skip birthdays, the pattern didn't start with birthdays at all. It started years ago, decades ago perhaps, in moments when you learned that your needs were negotiable, that your presence was conditional, that taking up space meant taking something away from someone else. Maybe you grew up in a household where resources were scarce, where one person's joy meant another's burden, where celebrating you felt like it came at someone else's expense. Or perhaps you learned early that being small, being quiet, being undemanding was the safest way to be loved, the most reliable path to acceptance. These lessons don't announce themselves loudly. They don't come with clear explanations or explicit instructions. They settle into your bones quietly, subtly, teaching you through atmosphere and implication that mattering too much is dangerous. And so when your birthday comes around, that ancient lesson resurfaces. You minimize automatically, reflexively, the way you've always done, the way that's kept you safe. The origins of this self-minimization are often rooted in early attachment experiences, in the fundamental relationships that taught you how the world works. Psychologist John Bowlby spent decades studying how children learn to navigate their emotional needs based on how their caregivers respond. If your needs were consistently met with warmth and attention, if your caregivers delighted in you and celebrated your existence, you learned that your feelings matter, that your presence is a gift, that you're inherently worthy of care and celebration. But if your needs were met inconsistently or worse, if expressing needs led to rejection or burden or irritation, you learned something different. You learned to make yourself smaller, to need less, to take up less space, to apologize for existing, for wanting, for needing anything at all. And these early lessons don't just fade when you become an adult. They don't disappear with age or understanding. They live in your body, embedded in your nervous system, encoded in your automatic responses, shaping the way you navigate relationships and celebrations and moments that ask you to be visible. Your birthday becomes a yearly reminder of this old wound, this place where you first learned that mattering comes with risk. That being celebrated might mean being disappointed when the celebration feels hollow or obligatory. That wanting attention might mean being rejected for wanting too much, for being too needy, for demanding more than you deserve. So you learned to want less, to expect less, to make yourself less visible so that disappointment couldn't find you as easily, so that rejection couldn't hurt as much. Some of this might feel familiar to you, might resonate with experiences you've had. The way you learn to anticipate other people's capacity before expressing your own needs, gauging whether they had enough bandwidth for you before asking for anything. The way you became skilled at reading a room, at sensing when your presence might be too much, at adjusting yourself to fit whatever space was available, making yourself smaller to fit into smaller spaces. You became adaptable, accommodating, easy to be around, low maintenance. And while those skills helped you survive, helped you navigate difficult environments and relationships, they also taught you to distrust your own worthiness, to believe that you only matter when you're useful, when you're not too much trouble, when you're grateful for whatever scraps of attention come your way, never asking for more, never expecting to be prioritized. The message became clear. You can exist, but quietly. You can have needs, but make them small. You can celebrate, but only if it doesn't inconvenience anyone, only if it doesn't cost anyone anything. Feel your shoulders now. Are they carrying tension? Let them drop. Let them release. Let gravity pull them down away from your ears. Feel the space between your shoulder blades widening as your shoulders melt down. Feel your neck, how it connects your head to your body, how it carries so much weight. Let it soften, let it relax, let the muscles release their grip, their constant holding. Notice your hands wherever they're resting. Are your fingers curled tight, holding on to something that isn't there? Let them open gently, let your palms relax, let your wrists go soft and loose. Your whole body can release now, can let go of holding that it doesn't need to carry anymore. Feel how the surface beneath you supports you completely. You don't have to hold yourself up. You don't have to stay vigilant. You can let yourself be held, be supported, be cradled by this moment. This pattern of minimizing yourself, of skipping your birthday, of deflecting celebration, it's not a character flaw. It's not a sign of weakness or dysfunction. It's a survival strategy that made perfect sense given what you needed to navigate, given the environment you were in, given the relationships that shaped you. You learned to be small because being small felt safe, because being large felt dangerous. You learned to need less because needing felt like a vulnerability that could be weaponized against you. You learned to make your joy quiet because loud joy seemed to threaten others, seemed to take up space that wasn't freely given to you. And even now, even though you're no longer in that original environment, even though the circumstances have changed, your body remembers, your nervous system remembers. And birthdays trigger that memory, that old sense that being celebrated is risky, that mattering too much comes with consequences you learn to avoid. You don't need to judge yourself for this. You don't need to criticize yourself for the ways you learn to survive. You don't need to force yourself to suddenly love birthdays or demand celebration or become comfortable with attention. You can simply understand where this comes from, see it clearly for what it is, trace its roots back to their source, and offer yourself compassion for the ways you learned to survive. This was adaptation, not weakness. This was your younger self figuring out how to get through each day with the tools available, with the understanding you had, with the resources at hand. And that younger self did remarkably well, managed to protect you, managed to keep you safe even if the strategies don't serve you the same way now. Let yourself sink deeper now into the surface beneath you. Let your breathing slow, becoming softer, gentler, more peaceful. Let your thoughts begin to blur and soften at the edges, becoming less sharp, less urgent, less demanding of your attention. Feel your chest rising and falling with each breath, the gentle rhythm that continues whether you think about it or not. Feel your belly soft and relaxed, moving slightly with each breath. Feel your legs heavy against the bed, sinking down, releasing into rest. You're safe here. You can rest. You don't need to keep protecting yourself in this moment. You don't need to stay small. You can just be, just breathe, just exist exactly as you are. And as you rest, as you let your body grow heavier and your mind grow quieter, we'll continue this gentle exploration, understanding more about why birthdays feel the way they do, why celebration triggers discomfort, and why all of it makes perfect sense given your story, given what you've lived through, given what you learned about your place in the world. Here's something psychologists have observed. something that shows up again and again in people who consistently avoid their own celebrations. They often struggle with what's called core unworthiness, a deep-seated belief that you're not inherently valuable, that your existence alone isn't reason enough for joy or celebration. This doesn't mean you think you're a bad person. You might be incredibly kind to others, hard-working, conscientious, loved by the people around you. But somewhere inside, tucked away in a place you might not even consciously access, there's a voice that whispers, "Yes, but that's not enough to deserve celebration." This belief operates quietly, beneath conscious thought, beneath the explanations you give yourself, shaping how you respond to attention, to gifts, to people saying they're grateful you were born. It's not logical. It doesn't hold up under scrutiny. But it's visceral, felt in the body, encoded in your nervous system. And it makes perfect sense given what you've learned about your place in the world. Core unworthiness often develops when love and acceptance feel conditional during formative years, when you learn that you're valued for what you do rather than who you are. When praise comes for achievements but affection feels scarce otherwise. When your parents or caregivers were distracted, overwhelmed, dealing with their own struggles, or unable to see you clearly as a separate person with your own needs and feelings, you internalize the message that you have to earn worth, that being born isn't enough, that existence alone doesn't warrant celebration. Worth became something you had to achieve, something you had to prove, something conditional and fragile rather than inherent and stable. And here's what makes this so complicated, what makes it so difficult to untangle. You might have been celebrated on your birthdays as a child. There might have been cakes and presents and songs, all the traditional markers of celebration. But if the celebration felt performative, if it felt like an obligation rather than genuine joy in your existence, if it felt like people were going through the motions because that's what you're supposed to do on birthdays rather than because they genuinely delighted in you, you absorbed that. Children are remarkably perceptive, tuned into emotional undercurrents with an accuracy that often exceeds conscious awareness. They can feel the difference between quote 3 and quote 4. And if what you felt was the former, if the celebration felt hollow or obligatory or dutiful, birthdays became hollow rituals. Performances of care that didn't quite reach the tender place inside you, that needed to feel truly seen, truly valued, truly celebrated for who you were rather than what you represented or what was expected. So now, as an adult, birthdays trigger that old hollowness, that familiar emptiness, that sense that people are going through the motions because it's expected, because birthdays are what you do, because it would be awkward not to acknowledge it, not because you genuinely matter to them in a deep, meaningful way. And rather than risk feeling that emptiness again, rather than open yourself to the possibility of hollow celebration, you skip the whole thing. You make birthdays invisible. You protect yourself from the disappointment of celebration that doesn't feel real, that doesn't touch the part of you that longs to be seen, because you learned early that sometimes the performance of love hurts more than the absence of it. At least absence is honest. At least absence doesn't ask you to pretend everything's fine when you can feel in your body that it isn't. Notice your breath again. Feel how it moves through your body without you having to think about it, without you having to control it or manage it or make it happen. Your lungs expanding, your belly softening, your chest rising and falling. The gentle rhythm of breathing in and breathing out, constant and reliable, automatic and natural. Let yourself be carried by that rhythm. Let it soothe you. Let it remind you that your body knows how to take care of you even when everything else feels uncertain. Feel the weight of your head against the pillow, heavy and relaxed, sinking down into softness. Feel your eyes, how they want to stay closed, how they're growing heavier with each breath, how the darkness behind your eyelids feels peaceful and safe. Let them be heavy. Let them rest. Let them stay closed as you drift deeper. This belief in your own unworthiness is not truth, even though it feels like truth. It's not an accurate assessment of your value, even though it feels certain. It's a story you were taught, a narrative that got woven into your sense of self so early that you can't remember a time before it. And stories can be questioned, can be examined, can be gently loosened, even if they can't be completely rewritten overnight. You don't have to believe you're worthy right now. You don't have to suddenly embrace birthdays and celebration. You don't have to force yourself to feel differently. You can simply know that the unworthiness you feel is learned, not inherent, that it came from somewhere outside you, from circumstances and relationships and messages you absorbed before you had the capacity to question them, before you had the tools to evaluate whether they were true. The worthiness was always there, underneath everything. It never left. It got covered over with other people's limitations, with family dynamics you had no control over, with cultural messages about who deserves what, with 1,000 small moments that taught you to doubt yourself. But underneath all of that, beneath all the learned beliefs and protective strategies, the inherent worth of your existence remained. It's still there now, steady and unchanging, like bedrock beneath shifting sand, waiting for you to notice it again. You don't have to find it tonight. You don't have to excavate it or prove it or defend it. You can just know it's there, buried but real, solid but hidden, and let that knowledge rest alongside you as you drift deeper into sleep. Let yourself rest with that understanding. Let it settle softly, without pressure to change or fix anything, without demands that you suddenly believe differently or feel differently. You're exactly where you need to be in this moment, breathing quietly, sinking deeper into rest. Your jaw is loose, hanging soft. Your shoulders are down, released from their constant lifting. Your whole body is releasing layer by layer, letting go of tension you've been carrying perhaps for years, perhaps for your entire life. And as you drift, as your body grows heavier and your thoughts begin to fade, we'll explore another layer of this pattern, another piece of understanding that might help you see yourself with more compassion, more clarity, more gentleness, more acceptance of why you are the way you are. For some people, birthdays aren't just uncomfortable, they feel exposing in a way that's almost unbearable. Like suddenly everyone is looking at you and seeing all the ways you're not enough, not successful enough, not happy enough, not living up to the person you thought you'd be by now, not measuring up to the life you imagined you'd have by this age. The birthday becomes a mirror of inadequacy, reflecting back everything you haven't achieved, every way you've disappointed yourself, every goal you haven't reached, every dream you've let go of or failed to pursue. And so avoiding it becomes a form of self-protection, a way of not having to look in that mirror. If you don't acknowledge the day, maybe you don't have to confront how it feels to measure yourself against time. Maybe you don't have to face the gap between who you are and who you thought you'd become. This is your mind trying to shield you from pain, from judgment, from the ache of not being further along, from the shame of not having accomplished more. There's something particularly painful about birthdays when you're struggling with where you are in life, when the reality doesn't match the expectations you once held. Each year marks the passage of time, makes visible the distance between expectations and reality, between dreams and circumstances, between who you hoped to be and who you actually are. When you were younger, full of possibility and potential, you might have imagined where you'd be by this age, the career you'd have established, the relationships you'd be in, the sense of having figured things out, the accomplishments that would prove you'd made something of yourself, that you hadn't wasted your time, that your life meant something. And if reality doesn't match that vision, if you're not where you thought you'd be, birthdays become uncomfortable reminders of falling short, of not measuring up, of somehow failing at the project of becoming who you were supposed to be. This comparison, this measuring of yourself against imagined timelines and internalized expectations, it's amplified by social media and culture more broadly. You see peers celebrating milestone birthdays with engagement rings, promotions, homes, children, exotic vacations, evidence of lives that seem to be progressing according to plan, hitting all the markers of success at the appropriate times. And if your life doesn't look like that, if you're still figuring things out, still struggling financially or professionally or romantically, still uncertain about your path, still feeling lost or behind, birthdays feel like public announcements of failure, like everyone can see you're behind, that you haven't achieved what you were supposed to by now. That time is passing, and you're not keeping pace with where you should be. So you hide the day. You don't post about it. You discourage celebration. You minimize it into invisibility because invisibility feels safer than exposure, safer than having people ask what you're up to these days, how work is going, whether you're seeing anyone, what you've been doing with your life. Questions that highlight everything you haven't accomplished. Safer than having to perform happiness when you're not sure you've earned the right to be happy yet. When you feel like you should have more to show for your years. Safer than being reminded that another year has passed and you're still not where you thought you'd be, still not who you hoped to become. Feel your body now. How heavy it's becoming, how it's sinking deeper and deeper into the mattress. Your arms feel weighted, like they're filled with sand, impossible to lift, heavy and still. Your legs feel like stone, anchored and motionless, sinking down into the bed. Let yourself sink even deeper into the mattress. Let it hold you completely, Let it support every part of you without you having to do anything, without you having to hold yourself up or keep yourself together. Notice your jaw, how it's relaxing more with each breath, how it's releasing tension you didn't even know it was carrying, your face smoothing, the tiny muscles around your eyes releasing, your forehead becoming peaceful and calm, all the holding melting away. You don't need to hold anything right now. You can let your whole body soften into rest, into peace, into this moment of complete surrender. This fear of exposure, of being seen and found wanting, of being measured against time and expectations and coming up short, it's rooted in shame. Not about specific things you've done, but about who you are, about the trajectory of your life, about the gap between expectation and reality. Shame researcher Brené Brown talks about how shame thrives in secrecy, in hiding, in the belief that if people really knew you, really saw you clearly, they'd see you're not enough. And birthdays threaten that secrecy. They force visibility. They ask you to be seen, to be acknowledged, to take up space, to accept attention. And when you're carrying shame about where you are in life, when you feel like you should be further along or doing better or accomplishing more, that visibility feels unbearable. It feels like standing naked in front of a crowd, every inadequacy on display, every failure visible, every shortcoming exposed. So skipping your birthday becomes a way to stay hidden, to avoid the painful exposure of being measured against time and found lacking, of being compared to others and falling short. It's protection, it's self-preservation, it's a reasonable response to feeling shame about not measuring up. And it makes perfect sense, even though it also keeps you isolated, keeps you from receiving the care and connection you actually need, keeps you alone with your shame instead of letting others see you, and potentially accepting you anyway. Because the thing about hiding is that it protects you from judgment, yes, but it also prevents you from being truly known. And being unknown is its own kind of loneliness, its own kind of pain, its own kind of suffering. You don't have to solve this tonight. You don't have to figure out how to be different or how to stop measuring yourself against impossible standards or how to release the shame you've been carrying. You can simply see this pattern clearly, understand where it comes from, trace its logic, and let yourself rest knowing that it's okay to be exactly where you are, even if it's not where you thought you'd be, even if it's not where anyone else is, even if it feels like you're falling behind or failing or somehow not measuring up. Right now, in this moment, you can just be here, breathing, resting, letting go of the measuring and the comparing and the shame. Let it all rest. Let yourself rest. Let your body grow heavier and your thoughts grow quieter as we continue this gentle journey together, as we keep exploring with compassion and without judgment. Sometimes skipping your birthday isn't about you at all. It's about everyone else. About not wanting to manage other people's emotions, their expectations, their need to perform care in ways that feel performative rather than genuine. You know how exhausting it is to receive a birthday wish from someone who barely knows you, to smile and say thank you when you'd rather just be left alone, when the interaction feels hollow and obligatory. There's a strange pressure in celebration, an obligation to be grateful, to be happy, to receive attention gracefully, to perform joy for the benefit of the people who are supposedly celebrating you. And when you're someone who already struggles with feeling deserving, that pressure multiplies. It's easier to skip the whole thing than to navigate the emotional labor of pretending it feels good, of managing everyone else's expectations and needs while your own go unmet. This emotional labor of birthdays is something people rarely talk about, rarely acknowledge. How much energy it takes to receive well wishes, to act appropriately grateful, to manage other people's need, to feel like they've acknowledged you properly, like they've done their duty as a friend or family member. Because here's the thing, often when people celebrate your birthday, they're not really thinking about what you need. They're thinking about fulfilling a social obligation, about being seen as a good friend or family member, about performing care in whatever way feels most comfortable for them, in whatever way requires the least effort or thought. The birthday greeting becomes more about their need to feel like a good person than about genuinely seeing you and celebrating who you are, what you've survived, what you mean to them specifically. And when you're sensitive to emotional dynamics, when you can feel the difference between genuine affection and performed obligation, when you've spent your life reading between the lines of what people say and do, birthdays become minefields. You have to navigate public Facebook posts that feel more about the poster than about you, designed to broadcast their thoughtfulness to a wider audience, to demonstrate what a caring friend they are. Gifts that reveal how little someone actually knows you, chosen with minimal effort or thought, generic and impersonal. Celebrations planned around what others want to do rather than what would actually feel good to you. Events that meet their needs for socializing or fun but don't consider what you might actually enjoy. And through it all, you're expected to be gracious, grateful, happy. Expected to perform joy, even if what you're actually feeling is exhausted, overwhelmed, unseen, burdened by the very attention that's supposed to feel good. So you opt out. You make yourself unavailable for celebration. You remove the burden of having to emotionally manage everyone else's performance of caring about you. And in that opting out, there's relief. The relief of not having to pretend, not having to put on a show, not having to navigate complex social dynamics that drain your energy. The relief of not having to receive care that doesn't actually feel caring, attention that doesn't actually feel attentive, celebration that doesn't actually feel celebratory. The relief of protecting your energy, of saying no to interactions that drain more than they nourish, of choosing solitude over hollow connection. It's self-preservation disguised as modesty, protection disguised as humility. Let your shoulders drop even more now. Feel them melting down, releasing, letting go of any holding, any bracing, any preparation for what might come. Notice your upper back, how it's sinking into the surface beneath you, supported and held, cradled by the mattress. Your chest rising and falling with each gentle breath, the movement becoming slower, softer, less noticeable with each cycle. Your belly soft and relaxed, no tension anywhere in your core, no holding in your stomach or sides. Let your whole torso soften, let it release any holding, any bracing, any preparation for impact. You can rest completely here. You don't need to be ready for anything, don't need to manage anything, don't need to protect yourself from anything. You can just be, just breathe, just rest in this moment of complete safety. This pattern of avoiding birthdays to avoid emotional labour, it's particularly common in people who've spent a lot of their lives caretaking others emotionally, managing other people's feelings, making sure everyone else is comfortable. People who learned early to attune to other people's needs, to manage other people's feelings, to make things easier for everyone else, to smooth over conflicts, to maintain harmony at their own expense. If that's been your role, if you've been the emotional caretaker, birthdays feel like just another opportunity to do that same work, another situation where you have to manage everyone else's experience, to make everyone else comfortable with celebrating you, to manage their anxiety about whether they're doing it right, whether their gift is good enough, whether you like what they've planned, to reassure them that yes, you're happy, you're grateful, you appreciate their effort even when it missed the mark entirely, even when it revealed how little they actually know about who you are. And that work is exhausting when what you really need is to be cared for without having to orchestrate it, to be celebrated in ways that actually see you rather than project onto you, to receive without having to manage the giver's feelings about giving. You're tired of being the one who makes everything smooth and easy for everyone else. Your birthday, ironically, becomes just another day where you take care of everyone else's needs instead of your own. Another day where you perform for others' comfort rather than being genuinely celebrated. You don't owe anyone that labour. You don't have to make it easy for people to celebrate you. You don't have to perform gratitude. You don't feel or manage other people's need to feel like good friends. You can simply say no to all of it, can simply let the day pass quietly, can simply protect your energy in whatever way feels necessary. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing selfish about refusing to do emotional work on a day that's supposed to be about you. There's nothing ungrateful about recognizing that some celebration feels more burdensome than joyful, more draining than nourishing. Let yourself drift deeper now. Let the thoughts slow and blur. Let sleep come closer as you sink into this understanding. Feel your breath, how gentle it's become, barely moving your chest, just the softest rise and fall, barely noticeable. Feel your whole body, heavy and still, releasing into rest, letting go of all holding, all tension, all preparation. You're safe here. You can let go. You can stop managing and protecting and performing. You can just rest, just breathe, just be. And as you do, we'll continue exploring gently and without pressure the patterns that have shaped your relationship with your birthday, with celebration, with being seen. Here's where it gets interesting, where another layer reveals itself. Many people who skip their birthdays are the same people who never forget anyone else's. They remember dates meticulously, send thoughtful gifts, organise celebrations for others with genuine joy and enthusiasm. But when it comes to themselves, silence. This isn't hypocrisy. It's not being fake or inconsistent. It's the psychology of people-pleasing carried to its natural conclusion. You've learned to find worth through service, through what you give rather than what you are. Celebrating yourself feels selfish, indulgent, taking when you're only comfortable giving, and so you slip quietly past your own day, redirecting attention anywhere but inward, finding safety in invisibility. This pattern runs deep, woven into your identity so thoroughly you might not even recognize it as learned behavior anymore. It just feels like who you are. People-pleasing is often born from environments where your needs weren't reliably met unless you first met the needs of others, where love felt conditional on your usefulness, your accommodating nature, your ability to make things easier rather than harder. You learned that the surest path to connection, to being valued, to mattering was through giving, through being helpful, thoughtful, generous, through anticipating what others needed before they asked and providing it gracefully, seamlessly, through making yourself useful, indispensable, the person people could count on, the one who always remembered, who always showed up, who always made things special for others, and in many ways this served you. It made you someone people could rely on, someone valued in your community. It created a sense of purpose, a clear role in relationships, a way to contribute that felt meaningful. It gave you a reliable strategy for feeling valuable when inherent worth felt uncertain, when you didn't trust that you mattered just for being you. You knew how to earn appreciation through generosity, how to create connection through service, how to matter by being the giver, the helper, the one who remembered and showed up and made things special for others. It worked in its way. It created relationships. It made you feel needed. But it also created an imbalance, a one-way street where your worth depends on outflow, on what you provide for others, where receiving feels uncomfortable, unearned, even dangerous, where being celebrated triggers guilt instead of joy, because somewhere deep inside you believe you haven't given enough yet to deserve receiving. The equation became simple and rigid. You give, therefore you matter. But the reverse, that you matter, therefore you deserve to receive, never quite took hold. Receiving without having earned it through service feels like theft, like taking what doesn't belong to you, like accepting payment for work you haven't done. So you excel at remembering other people's birthdays, at making them feel special, at creating the celebration for them that you can't accept for yourself. You know exactly what a good birthday should look like. You understand intimately the elements that make someone feel truly seen and valued. You create that for others with genuine care and thoughtfulness, pouring energy and creativity into making their day meaningful. But you can't let yourself have it because receiving still feels like taking, like being selfish, like violating the unspoken rule that your value comes from what you give, not who you are. Feel your breath moving in and out, gentle and easy, soft and natural. Feel how your body breathes itself without any effort from you, how the lungs expand and contract in their own rhythm, how life continues flowing through you whether you think about it or not, whether you try to control it or not. Notice your hands, so relaxed now, fingers soft and open, palms resting gently. Notice your legs, heavy and still, sinking deeper into the mattress with each breath, with each moment of rest. your whole body sinking deeper into rest with each breath, with each moment that passes. There's nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do, no one you need to take care of. You can simply be here, breathing, resting, letting go of all the giving and the serving and the caring for others. This pattern of people-pleasing, of finding worth through giving, it's not sustainable forever. Eventually the imbalance catches up with you. You get tired of always being the one who gives, who remembers, who makes things special. You get resentful of the one-way flow of care and attention, of being the one who celebrates others but never gets celebrated yourself in ways that feel genuine. You start feeling invisible in a different way, not because you're hiding, but because no one seems to see that you need to receive sometimes too, that you have needs, that you long to be cared for. And birthdays become flashpoints for this exhaustion. These yearly reminders that the care flows one direction, that you're always the one organising and never the one being celebrated in a way that feels genuine and thoughtful and specific to who you are. But changing this pattern doesn't mean forcing yourself to accept celebration you don't want. It doesn't mean making birthdays a big deal when they don't feel that way to you. It means gently examining where the people-pleasing comes from, why receiving feels so uncomfortable, what you're afraid might happen if you let yourself matter without having to earn it through service. What would it mean to believe that your existence alone, separate from what you provide for others, has value? You don't need to answer that question tonight. You can just let it exist, gently, in the background, not demanding anything, just present. You can simply notice the pattern, see it clearly without judgment, and let yourself rest knowing that your worth isn't dependent on what you give. It's inherent. It's always been there, underneath the learned behaviours, underneath the strategies for earning love, underneath the people-pleasing and the service and the giving. It's been waiting patiently for you to notice it, to trust it, to rest in it. But you don't need to find it right now. You can just know it's there and let yourself drift deeper into sleep, deeper into rest, deeper into the peace of not having to prove anything or earn anything or be anything except exactly what you are. There's another layer here, quieter, but just as real, just as powerful. Sometimes people skip birthdays because they're afraid of being disappointed, afraid that if they allow themselves to want celebration, to hope for thoughtfulness, to expect to be seen, it won't come. Or it'll come in a way that feels hollow, obligatory, performative, missing the mark entirely. And that disappointment, that gap between hoping to be seen and being overlooked, between wanting to matter and discovering you don't matter quite as much as you hoped, feels unbearable. So you protect yourself by expecting nothing, by making the day invisible, by removing the possibility of hurt entirely. It's a preemptive grief, a way of controlling pain before it controls you. You skip your birthday not because you don't want to be celebrated, but because you can't risk wanting it and being let down. This fear of disappointment often comes from a history of disappointment, from a pattern of hoping and being let down, of wanting and not receiving, From birthdays past where you hoped for something meaningful and got something generic, where you wanted thoughtfulness and got the bare minimum, where you wanted to feel truly seen, truly known, truly celebrated for who you are, and instead felt like an obligation being checked off a list, a duty being fulfilled, where you imagined people who knew you well would show up in thoughtful ways, and instead they showed up in convenient ways, in ways that required minimal effort, in ways that made clear they weren't paying that much attention to who you actually are, what you actually value, what would actually make you feel seen. Each of those moments hurt in a specific way. The way that hoping and being let down always hurts. The way that vulnerability without reciprocation always stings. And each of those disappointments taught you something, reinforced a lesson. They taught you that hoping is dangerous, that it sets you up for pain, that wanting makes you vulnerable, exposes you to hurt. That expecting people to see you clearly only leads to the pain of being misunderstood, overlooked, or forgotten. So you learn to protect yourself by not hoping, by not wanting, by not expecting anything. You learn to skip your birthday entirely rather than risk the particular kind of hurt that comes from wanting to matter and discovering you don't matter quite as much as you hoped, from expecting thoughtfulness and receiving genericness, from hoping to be seen and being overlooked. Better to avoid the whole situation than to feel that ache again, that specific pain of unmet expectations. There's a particular loneliness in this protection, a cost that might not be immediately obvious, because by removing the possibility of disappointment, you also remove the possibility of pleasant surprise, of genuine connection, of being delighted by how well someone knows you. You never find out if someone might actually show up for you in meaningful ways because you don't give them the chance. You never discover if your birthday could feel different because you've decided in advance it won't, because you've closed the door before anyone can walk through it. You're protecting yourself, yes, but you're also keeping yourself isolated, keeping yourself from the very connection you're longing for underneath all the fear. The protection becomes a prison. Safety becomes isolation. Notice how your breathing has slowed even more, how it's become barely perceptible, how gentle it's become barely noticeable, just the softest movement. Feel your chest rising and falling in its own quiet rhythm, steady and reliable, asking nothing of you. Your whole body is growing heavier, sinking deeper into the surface beneath you, merging with the mattress. Your face is completely relaxed, peaceful, all the tiny muscles releasing their grip. Your jaw loose, hanging soft, your eyes heavy, barely any flutter beneath the lids, your forehead smooth and calm. Let yourself drift now. Let the thoughts fade further. Let sleep come closer. You're safe here. You can let go of analysing, let go of protecting, let go of anything you've been holding, anything you've been carrying. This fear of disappointment, it makes sense. It's rational, given what you've experienced, given the pattern of unmet expectations and hollow celebrations. But it's also keeping you in a cage of your own making, where you're protecting yourself from pain, but also cutting yourself off from the possibility of joy, of genuine connection, of being celebrated in ways that actually feel good, that actually touch something real in you. The cage is comfortable in its familiarity, but it's still a cage. And somewhere inside, you know that. Somewhere inside, you long to risk hoping again, even though the risk feels enormous. You don't have to dismantle this protection right now. You don't have to take risks you're not ready for. You don't have to force yourself to hope or want or expect anything. You can simply see the cage clearly, understand how you built it and why, recognize the logic that holds it in place, and know that when you're ready, when it feels safe enough, you have the power to open the door. The key has always been in your hand, but opening the door requires believing that what's outside might be better than what's inside, and that's a leap of faith that takes time, that requires healing, that can't be rushed. Tonight is just for resting, for understanding, for being gentle with yourself, for recognizing that the fear of disappointment is trying to protect you, even if the protection costs you connection, for seeing clearly how the pattern works without having to immediately change it, for letting yourself rest in the knowledge that you make sense, that your strategies make sense, that all of this is understandable given your history. Let that understanding settle softly as you drift deeper, as your body grows heavier, as sleep approaches with gentle inevitability. Strange as it sounds, there's a comfort in being forgotten on your birthday, a relief. When the day passes without acknowledgement, it confirms something you've always suspected, validates a belief you've carried, proves what you've always thought was true, that you're easy to overlook, that your presence doesn't demand attention, that you can slip through the world without leaving much trace, that people don't think about you when you're not right in front of them. This isn't about wanting to disappear, about craving invisibility. It's about finding strange validation in being exactly as small as you've always felt, as forgettable as you've always believed yourself to be. When people forget, you don't have to confront the dissonance between how you see yourself and how others might see you. You can just exist quietly, consistently, in the background where you've learned to feel safe. There's a psychological phenomenon called confirmation bias, where we notice and remember information that confirms what we already believe while overlooking information that contradicts it, that challenges our existing narratives. And when you believe deep down that you don't matter very much, that you're forgettable, that you're not worth making a fuss over, that you're easy to overlook, you notice every time someone forgets your birthday. You notice every oversight, every missed acknowledgement, every person who doesn't reach out, every friend who lets the day pass without comment, and each instance confirms what you already believed, reinforces the narrative you've been telling yourself. See, you were right. You're not that important. You're easy to forget. People don't actually think about you. The forgetting becomes evidence, proof that you've been seeing yourself accurately all along. But here's what you might not notice as easily, what confirmation bias helps you filter out. The people who do remember, the ones who do reach out, even quietly, even simply. The moments when you are seen, when you do matter to someone, when your existence is noted with care, with affection, with genuine appreciation. Because those instances don't fit the story you're telling yourself, don't match the narrative about being forgettable. They get minimized, explained away, discounted, dismissed as flukes or obligations. Oh, they only remembered because Facebook told them. They're just being polite. They probably text everyone on their birthday. You find ways to make those moments of being remembered not count, not matter, not challenge the core belief, so you can maintain the belief that you're forgettable, so the narrative can stay intact. And there's something almost safe about that belief, something oddly comforting about its consistency. Because if you truly let yourself believe you matter, if you let yourself believe people want to celebrate you, that you're worth remembering, that people think about you with fondness, then you'd have to feel how much you've been denying yourself, how much connection you've pushed away, how much love you've refused to receive. You'd have to feel the grief of all the years you hid, all the celebration you refused, all the connection you kept at bay. That grief feels too big, too overwhelming, too much to hold. So you stay with the smaller, more manageable pain of believing you're forgettable. At least that pain is familiar. At least you know how to carry it, how to live with it, how to function around it. Feel your body now, how completely relaxed it's become, how thoroughly it's surrendered to rest. Your shoulders have melted down into the mattress, releasing all tension, all holding, all bracing. Your arms are so heavy, like they're made of lead, impossible to lift, weighted and still. Your legs are motionless, heavy like stone, sinking deeper and deeper into the bed with each passing moment. Your back is pressed into the surface beneath you, supported fully, held completely, cradled and safe. Every part of you is letting go, releasing, softening into rest. There's no tension left that needs your attention, no holding that serves any purpose. You can drift now. You can let your mind wander towards sleep. You can let consciousness begin to blur and fade. This comfort you find in being forgotten, it's protection, but it's also prison. It keeps you safe from disappointment, but it also keeps you lonely, isolated, separate. It confirms your beliefs, but it also prevents you from discovering that maybe those beliefs aren't entirely true, aren't the whole picture, that maybe you do matter to more people than you think, that maybe being celebrated could feel different than it has before, that maybe the forgettable story you've been telling isn't the only true story about who you are, about how you're perceived, about the impact you have on others. But you don't need to challenge these beliefs tonight. You don't need to dismantle the narrative or question the story or force yourself to see things differently. You don't need to do anything with this understanding except let it exist alongside you as you drift deeper into sleep. The beliefs can rest too. The stories can rest. Everything can rest while you sink into this darkness, this warmth, this gentle letting go. Let yourself rest now. Let yourself stop thinking, stop analyzing, stop trying to make sense of everything. Let yourself simply be here, breathing quietly, sinking into the soft peace of approaching sleep. Everything makes sense. You make sense, your strategies make sense, and you can rest now, fully and completely. And as you sink deeper still, your body growing heavier with each breath, you might notice something happening beneath the thoughts, beneath the patterns we've been exploring. Even when you successfully skip your birthday on the outside, your body often remembers. There's a heaviness that settles in around that time of year, a subtle sadness you might not connect to the date at first. Your nervous system holds memory differently than your conscious mind. It remembers birthdays from childhood, ones that were missed, or painful, or disappointing. And even years later, as the date approaches, your body braces itself without you realizing why. This somatic memory, this body-held experience, it operates below conscious awareness most of the time. You might just notice feeling a little more tired around your birthday, a little more fragile, a little more tender, a little more prone to sadness or irritability or withdrawal. You might not connect it to the date at all, might not consciously recognize the pattern. You might think you're just having an off week, that you're stressed about work, that you're fighting off something, that something's wrong but you're not sure what. But your body knows. Your body is remembering every birthday that felt lonely, every year you felt forgotten, every time you wanted to matter and weren't sure you did. Notice your breath right now. Feel how slow and gentle it's become, how peaceful. Feel the soft rhythm, barely there, just breathing you without any effort, without any thought. Notice your jaw completely loose now, hanging soft, released. Notice your neck, your throat, how soft and open they are, how relaxed. Your whole body is releasing deeper, letting go of patterns it's held for so long, tensions carried for years. You can rest from this now. You can let your body rest from the remembering, from the bracing, from anticipating hurt. This isn't something you need to solve tonight. You don't need to heal your relationship with birthdays or teach your body to forget or process every painful memory. You can simply acknowledge that your body remembers, that it carries this weight, and offer it compassion. Offer yourself compassion for how hard it's been, for how much you've had to protect yourself, for how exhausting it is to brace against disappointment year after year. You can let yourself rest now. Let your body finally rest from all of it. Let yourself sink deeper, heavier, softer, drifting towards sleep. Feel your whole body now, how heavy it is, how still. Your arms lying motionless, your legs sinking down into the mattress, your chest barely moving with each breath, just the gentlest rise and fall. Notice how your shoulders have dropped completely, released entirely, how your face is peaceful and calm, smooth and relaxed, how every muscle has released its grip, has let go of its holding. You're safe here. You can let go. You can stop holding everything so tightly. You can rest completely, deeply, without reservation or protection. This body memory doesn't need your attention right now. It doesn't need to be processed or understood or healed in this moment. It can simply exist, acknowledged but not examined, present but not demanding. And you can rest alongside it, breathing softly, sinking deeper, letting sleep come closer with each passing moment. Your body knows how to rest, knows how to heal, knows how to let go. Trust it. Let it show you the way into deeper relaxation, deeper peace, deeper surrender to sleep. There's a grief that lives underneath the decision to skip your birthday, even when it feels like a relief, even when avoiding celebration seems easier. It's the grief of the child inside you who wanted to matter, who wanted to be celebrated without having to ask for it, who wanted someone to remember without being reminded. That younger part of you still lives somewhere inside, still carries those wants, still holds those needs. And every year you skip your birthday, that part of you feels the absence, feels the lack, feels the quiet ache of not being celebrated. This inner child, this younger version of you had such simple needs, really. To be seen, to be remembered, to matter without having to prove worthiness, to be celebrated just for existing, just for being here, just for being alive. And if those needs weren't met consistently, if birthdays felt like disappointments more often than celebrations, if the people who should have delighted in you seemed burdened by you instead, that child learned to stop hoping, learned to protect against the hurt of wanting and not receiving, learned to make the needs smaller, quieter, less demanding, easier to ignore. Feel your breath moving through you now, so gentle, so slow, barely perceptible. Feel how your chest barely moves. Just the slightest rise and fall, the gentlest expansion and contraction. Feel your whole body settling, sinking, releasing everything it's been holding, everything it's been carrying. Your face is peaceful, completely relaxed. Your shoulders are down, dropped and soft. Your arms are heavy, impossible to move. Your legs are still, weighted and quiet. Your whole body knows how to rest even when your mind struggles with it. Let your body lead now. Let it show you how to soften, how to let go, how to surrender to sleep. You don't need to fix this or feel guilty about it or force yourself to change anything. You can simply acknowledge that grief exists, that it makes sense, that it's a natural response to needs that went unmet. And let yourself rest, knowing it's okay to feel more than one thing at once, to hold multiple truths simultaneously. All of it can exist together, the protection and the longing, the relief of skipping and the ache of not being celebrated, the rational explanations and the tender needs underneath. All of it makes sense. And none of it needs to be resolved tonight, doesn't need to be fixed or changed or understood completely. Notice how your breathing continues steady and reliable, even as your conscious attention fades, even as you drift further towards sleep. Notice how your body takes care of itself, how it knows what to do, how it breathes and beats and repairs without you having to think about any of it. Without you having to manage or control anything, you can trust your body, you can let it rest. You can let everything rest as you sink deeper and deeper into the soft darkness of approaching sleep. The grief can rest too. The younger part of you who wanted to be celebrated can rest. The protective mechanisms that have worked so hard to keep you safe can rest. Everything that's been working, striving, protecting, defending can finally relax, can finally stop, can finally just be still. You're safe here. You can let everything rest now, just breathing, just resting, just drifting deeper into sleep. There's nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, no one else to take care of. Just this moment, just this breath, just this gentle sinking into peace. What would it feel like to want your birthday to matter? Not in a big elaborate way, but just quietly, privately, to want to be seen on that one day. For many people who skip birthdays, even allowing themselves to want feels dangerous, feels like too much, feels like opening a door that should stay closed. Wanting means vulnerability. Wanting means risking disappointment. Wanting means admitting you matter enough to deserve celebration. This permission to want, it's something many people struggle with, not just around birthdays, but in life more broadly. You've learned to minimize your desires, to need less, to be low maintenance, to not ask for much. You've learned that wanting makes you vulnerable, exposes you to potential hurt, that expressing needs might lead to rejection, might reveal you as needy or demanding, and that strategy has protected you in many ways. It's kept you from disappointment. It's made you easy to be around, but it's also kept you from experiencing what it feels like to want something and receive it, to express a need and have it met. Notice your body now, how heavy it's become, how completely it's surrendered, how your arms lie motionless, impossible to lift, your legs completely still, weighted and quiet, how your breath has slowed to barely a whisper, just the faintest movement, how your mind is beginning to blur, thoughts becoming dreamlike and distant, barely coherent. You don't need to hold on to anything anymore. You can let thoughts drift away, unfinished, incomplete. You can let yourself sink into this darkness, this warmth, this gentle embrace of rest. You don't have to decide anything about wanting tonight. You can just let the possibility exist somewhere in the background, not demanding anything, not requiring any action. The possibility that maybe someday you could allow yourself to want your birthday to matter, and that want wouldn't make you selfish or demanding or too much. It would just make you human. But for now, you don't need to want anything except sleep. And sleep is coming, gentle and inevitable, pulling you deeper. Feel your shoulders so soft now, melted completely into the mattress, no holding left anywhere. Feel your jaw hanging loose, completely relaxed, no tension remaining. Feel your whole face peaceful and still, smooth and calm. Feel your chest rising and falling so gently, barely moving, just the softest breath. You can let go now. You can stop thinking and just drift, soft and heavy, into peace. Your whole body is sinking, dissolving into the surface beneath you. There's no boundary anymore between you and the bed. You're becoming part of it, merging with it, letting go of where you end and the softness begins. You can surrender completely. You can rest fully. You can sleep deeply. Let yourself drift now, deeper and softer, into the gentle arms of sleep that have been waiting for you all along. Some people confuse skipping their birthday with humility, with being modest, with not making a fuss. But there's a difference between humility and self-erasure. Humility says, quote 8. Self-erasure says, quote 9. True humility is grounded, balanced. It recognizes your strengths and limitations without inflation or deflation. It allows you to take up appropriate space, to accept acknowledgement when offered, to receive celebration without shame or discomfort. Humility doesn't require you to minimize your existence or pretend you don't matter. It just asks you to hold your worth alongside everyone else's worth, seeing yourself as part of the human community rather than above or below it. But self-erasure is different. Self-erasure is the constant minimizing of yourself, the reflexive diminishing of your needs and presence, the automatic assumption that you matter less than others. It's not grounded or balanced, it's fearful, protective. It comes from a place of believing that taking up space is inherently wrong, that mattering too much is dangerous, that the safest way to exist is to make yourself as small as possible. Feel your shoulders dropping even more, melting into the mattress beneath you. Feel your chest so soft now, rising and falling with barely any effort, just the gentlest movement. Feel your belly completely relaxed, no holding anywhere. Feel your hips, heavy and still, sinking down. Let your whole torso soften, let it release, let it rest. There's nothing you need to brace against right now. You can just be here, heavy and warm, sinking deeper with each breath. This isn't about judgment or criticism. It's about clarity, about understanding that minimizing yourself isn't the same as being humble. It's learned survival, a strategy you developed to stay safe in an environment that taught you that being too much came with consequences. And you don't need to carry that survival strategy anymore if it no longer serves you. But you also don't need to figure that out right now. You can just breathe, soften, and let go. Let the distinction rest somewhere in your awareness without needing to do anything about it, without needing to change or fix anything. Let yourself drift. Let sleep approach. Let your body grow so heavy that movement feels impossible. You're safe. You can rest completely. You can let every thought fade into darkness, every worry dissolve into sleep. Even when you're the one choosing to skip your birthday, there can be a loneliness in it, a quiet ache that comes from wondering if anyone would notice if you didn't say anything, if anyone would remember on their own, if anyone sees you clearly enough to know what the day means, even if you don't celebrate it. This loneliness isn't about wanting a party or public celebration. It's about wanting to be held in someone's mind with care, to be remembered without having to remind them, to matter enough that your existence is marked even quietly. It's about wondering if people actually think about you, actually hold you in their awareness with tenderness. Notice your breathing now, how it's almost imperceptible, barely there, how gentle and slow it's become. Notice your body, how still you are, how heavy, how completely relaxed. Your jaw is soft, your eyes are heavy, your whole face is peaceful, your neck is released, your shoulders are down, your arms lie motionless, your legs are weighted, sinking. Your whole body is letting go, surrendering to rest, drifting towards sleep. This loneliness doesn't need to be solved tonight. It's just part of the complexity of being human, of wanting connection while also protecting yourself from hurt. You can hold that complexity gently. You can acknowledge the loneliness without judgment, and then you can let it rest alongside you as you drift deeper, as your thoughts scatter and fade, as sleep pulls you under with gentle inevitability. We all carry stories about our worth, narratives that shape how we see ourselves. And for people who skip birthdays, those stories often sound like this: _, quote _10 _. These stories aren't truths, they're protections. They're ways you've learned to manage the fear of being too much, of asking for too much, of needing too much. These narratives feel like objective reality, like simple statements of fact. But they're not. They're interpretations, conclusions you've drawn, beliefs that calcified somewhere along the way and stopped being questioned. What if you mattered just because you exist? What if celebrating your birth wasn't about achievement, but simply about being alive? Feel your whole body now, completely relaxed, completely heavy, sinking into the mattress as if you're becoming part of it. Feel how your breath barely moves you anymore. Just the gentlest rise and fall, almost imperceptible. Feel how your thoughts are blurring, becoming dreamlike, barely coherent. You're so close to sleep now. Let yourself drift. Let yourself sink. Let yourself stop trying to understand or figure anything out. Just rest. Just breathe. Just let go completely. There's a strange safety in knowing what to expect, even when what you expect is disappointment. When you skip your birthday year after year, you control the outcome. You know exactly how it will feel. And even though it hurts, it's a hurt you know how to hold, how to manage, how to survive. What's scarier is the unknown. The possibility that if you let people celebrate you, it might actually feel good. That if you let yourself want it, you might get it. And then you'd have to reckon with how much you've been denying yourself. Your body is so heavy now, so deeply relaxed. Your breathing is barely noticeable, just a whisper of air moving in and out. Your mind is drifting, thoughts slipping away before they fully form. You don't need to think about this anymore. You can just let it all go. Let it all fade. Let yourself sink completely into sleep. Let your jaw hang loose. Let your tongue rest soft. Let your eyes stay closed, heavy and peaceful. Let your shoulders melt down. Let your chest barely move. Let your belly soften completely. Let your whole body surrender to gravity, to rest, to sleep. You're safe. You can let go. You can stop protecting yourself just for now. You can rest deeply, completely, without holding anything back. Here's something true and gentle. Celebrating yourself doesn't have to look like what you've been avoiding. It doesn't have to be loud or public or performative. Celebrating yourself can be quiet and private. It can be as simple as acknowledging the day, marking it in your own way. Maybe that's all you need, not a party, not gifts, not attention, but just the quiet recognition that you're here, that you've survived another year, that your existence has value. Maybe celebration could be just for you, without having to perform for anyone else. But you don't need to do anything with this thought right now. You can just let it rest alongside you as you drift deeper into sleep. Let it exist as a possibility, not a pressure. And as you let it go, feel how your body is completely at rest now. How your breath is so slow, so gentle. How your thoughts are dissolving into dreams. How sleep is here, holding you, pulling you under. You can surrender to it now completely. As you lie here now, your body growing heavier, your thoughts blurring and fading into nothing, you might notice how tightly you've been holding certain beliefs about yourself, how much energy it takes to maintain the story that you're not worth celebrating. This exhaustion of constant self-minimization is real, even if you've learned not to feel it consciously. Every time you deflect a compliment, downplay an achievement, dismiss your needs, skip your birthday, you're expending energy to maintain the smallness. Your breath is slowing naturally now, becoming deeper, steadier. Your jaw is releasing tension you didn't know you were holding. Your shoulders are settling deeper into softness. Your whole body knows how to let go. Trust your body now. Let it lead you into sleep. And somewhere beneath all the protection, all the minimizing, there's a part of you that knows you matter. That's always known. You don't have to find it tonight. You can just acknowledge it's there and let it rest too. Let everything rest. Let your whole self rest now. Feel how your body is surrendered completely, how your face is peaceful, smooth, relaxed, how your neck is soft, your throat open, how your chest rises and falls in the gentlest rhythm, how every part of you is sinking, melting, dissolving into rest. There's nothing you need to do, nothing you need to be. You can just drift now, deeper and softer, letting sleep come fully. There's a rhythm to letting go that your body already knows. With each breath out, something releases. Each exhale carries away a little more tension, a little more weight. You don't have to actively let go. It's happening naturally, the way sleep happens when you finally stop trying to control everything. Your heartbeat is steady, doing its work without conscious effort. Your breathing is deep and slow, moving through you like a gentle tide. And the stories about not mattering enough, about being too much or not enough, they're fading into the background like distant sounds from another room. Feel the darkness behind your closed eyes, soft and welcoming. Feel the warmth of your body, safe and held. Feel the mattress supporting your weight completely, requiring nothing. You're safe in this darkness, safe in this stillness, and as you sink even deeper, you might notice how good it feels to finally let go. How your body has been waiting for this. How it softens with relief when you finally allow yourself to rest. This is what your body needs. Just this. Just rest. Let your thoughts drift away now, unfinished and incomplete. You don't need to think about birthdays anymore. All of that can wait until morning. Right now, there's only this breath, and this exhale, and this soft sinking into sleep. Nothing else matters. You can let go completely now. Your body knows how to rest. Trust that knowing. Trust the way your muscles are releasing, the way your breath is slowing, the way your mind is becoming dreamlike and vague. You're safe here. You can rest completely. In this moment, you don't owe anyone anything. You don't have to be smaller. You don't have to earn rest. You can simply exist, breathing in and breathing out, feeling the weight of your body, the coolness of the pillow, and that's enough. It's always been enough. Your existence alone is reason enough to matter, to rest, to be held gently by this night. You just get to rest because you're alive. Because rest is a birthright, not a reward. Feel that truth settling into your bones. You belong here. You deserve rest. You matter just because you exist. And right now, nothing is being asked of you except to breathe and drift into sleep. Your breath is barely noticeable now, just the faintest movement. Your body has become so heavy it feels like you're sinking through the mattress, merging with it. Your mind is foggy, dreamlike, on the edge of sleep, almost there, almost gone. Let yourself cross that threshold now. Let yourself slip from almost asleep to fully sleeping. Let consciousness fade completely. Let dreams begin. Let yourself disappear into soft darkness. You're safe. You're held. You can let go completely. Sleep is approaching now like a gentle tide, soft and inevitable. Your thoughts are becoming dreamlike, fragmentary, barely there. The question of birthdays feels very far away now, like something from another life that doesn't need your attention. Your body is so heavy, so perfectly still, sinking into the mattress as if you're melting into it. There's no resistance left anywhere. Everything has released, everything has softened, everything has surrendered to rest. The stories you've been carrying about not being worth celebrating, they're dissolving now like sugar in warm water, becoming part of something larger, something you can't hold on to anymore. They're fading into sleep, becoming dreams, becoming nothing. Your breathing is so slow now, like the breathing of someone already dreaming. And maybe you are dreaming already. Maybe this is the edge of sleep where you can't tell what's real and what's imagination. And that's perfect. Notice how peaceful this feels. How good it is to finally stop trying to figure everything out. How restful it is to let the questions about birthdays and worth just fade away unanswered. You just need to sleep. And sleep is here now. Let yourself go completely now. Let yourself stop monitoring. Stop thinking. Stop being aware. Let consciousness dissolve like morning mist, fading and fading until there's nothing left but pure rest. Sleep. Just sleep. Deep and soft and quiet sleep. Let everything else fall away. Let the world disappear. Let yourself disappear into this darkness, this warmth, this perfect stillness. And as you drift even further now, barely conscious, barely holding on to anything, there's something beautiful in how your mind is letting go of everything it usually carries. All the questions, all the doubts, all the stories about not being enough, they're dissolving into sleep. Your breathing is so slow now, like the breathing of someone already dreaming. And maybe you are dreaming already, in that space between conscious and unconscious, between here and gone, between holding on and completely letting go. The memories of birthdays past, the disappointments and loneliness and quiet ache, they're fading now too, becoming soft and distant like sounds from another room, barely audible, barely there. Feel how your body has completely surrendered now, how every muscle is released, every joint soft, every part of you heavy and still. Feel how your breath barely moves you, just the faintest rise and fall. You're so close now to being completely asleep, so close to letting go entirely, so close to disappearing into the gentle night. Just a few more breaths, just a few more moments. Let yourself sink even deeper than before, down into the soft, quiet place where nothing exists except rest. Down into the darkness where thoughts don't form and awareness doesn't reach. You're safe. You're held. You can let go completely. Just this gentle sinking, deeper and deeper, softer and softer, into the most peaceful sleep. Sleep knows you. It's been waiting patiently all day for this moment when you finally stop resisting, and now it's here, wrapping around you like the most comfortable blanket. Your body has already let go. Your breath is the breath of deep sleep. Your mind is barely holding onto consciousness, and soon, very soon, you'll cross that threshold into dreams. There's nothing keeping you awake anymore. Everything can rest now. Everything can wait. Everything can dissolve into sleep. Feel yourself crossing over now. Feel that last little bit of awareness slipping away. Feel yourself surrendering completely to unconsciousness. You're not here anymore. You're somewhere else, somewhere soft and dark and peaceful. Let go. Let go completely. Let yourself be asleep now, fully, deeply, peacefully asleep. No more thinking, no more awareness. Just sleep. Pure, deep, restful sleep. You're safe. You're held. You're sleeping. Nothing needs your attention now. Nothing needs to be remembered or solved or understood. You can release every thought, every worry, every question. They'll still be there tomorrow if you need them, but right now you don't need anything except sleep. Your body is completely relaxed, every muscle soft and heavy, every breath carrying you deeper into rest. The world is fading away, becoming distant and unimportant. There's no resistance left, no holding, no trying. Just this pure surrender to sleep, to rest, to the peace of being completely unconscious. Your birthday, your worth, your place in the world, none of it needs your attention now. Sleep is taking you now, gently and completely, the way it always does when you finally stop resisting. And you're not resisting anymore. You're just here, peaceful and still, drifting into the deepest rest. Let the last little bit of awareness fade away. Let consciousness disappear entirely. Let yourself be nothing but a sleeping body, breathing quietly in the darkness. And so you drift, surrendering fully to sleep, to rest, to the quiet peace of letting everything go. You can simply be here, breathing softly, barely conscious, slipping further into dreams. Sleep is taking you now, gently and completely. You're just here, peaceful and still, drifting into sleep that holds you tenderly, into dreams that ask nothing except to let go, to rest, to simply be. And you are. You are resting. You are sleeping. You are finally, beautifully, completely at peace. And so you've travelled through this landscape tonight, through the quiet territory of your own patterns, your own complexity, your own tender places that you've protected for so long. You've looked at the ways your mind works, the ways you've learned to protect yourself, the ways you've made yourself small in order to stay safe. And maybe you've begun to see, even just a little, that you're not broken. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not failing at being human. You're human, beautifully and complicatedly human, carrying stories that made sense when you learned them, carrying strategies that helped you survive, carrying beliefs that protected you even if they don't serve you the same way anymore. You don't have to figure anything out before you sleep. You don't have to resolve anything or understand anything completely or fix anything about yourself. You can let yourself be uncertain, be in process, be exactly where you are right now without needing to be anywhere else. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow you can think about birthdays and worth and celebration if you need to, if those questions still feel important. But tonight, is for rest. Tonight is for letting your body soften completely, for letting your mind quiet fully, for letting yourself be held by darkness and silence and the gentle embrace of sleep that's been waiting for you. Feel yourself now completely relaxed. Feel the muscles in your face so smooth and peaceful, released from all the tension they've been holding. Feel your jaw unclenched, hanging loose and soft. Feel your tongue resting gently in your mouth, not pressed against anything, just soft and still. Feel your shoulders dropped away from your ears, melted down into the mattress beneath you. Feel your arms heavy, so heavy, like they're made of something denser than bone and muscle, something that wants only to sink and rest. Feel your whole body surrendered to gravity, no longer fighting it, no longer holding yourself up, just letting the earth hold you, letting the bed support you, letting yourself be carried. Let everything settle into the surface beneath you. Let yourself be supported completely, held entirely, cradled and safe. Let yourself rest with absolute permission, knowing that you don't have to earn this rest, don't have to justify it, don't have to prove you deserve it. Rest is your birthright. Sleep is your inheritance. Peace is available to you simply because you're alive, because you're here, because you exist. You are worthy of rest. You are deserving of peace. You are allowed to let go, to stop thinking, to stop analyzing, to stop trying to figure everything out and simply drift into sleep. You're safe here in this darkness, in this stillness, in this moment where nothing is required of you. You're held by something larger than yourself, cradled by the night, supported by the quiet. You can rest now. You can let yourself drift deeper and softer into sleep, sinking down through layers of consciousness into the peaceful depths where dreams begin. Just breathing. Just resting, just sleeping. The rhythm of your breath so slow now, so gentle, barely noticeable. The rise and fall of your chest like the softest tide, like waves on a distant shore, barely moving, barely there. You can let go completely now. You can release everything you've been holding, everything you've been carrying, everything you've been protecting. Sleep deeply, sleep peacefully, sleep well. You matter. You've always mattered. Your existence has always been valuable, has always been enough, has always been worthy of celebration, even if you couldn't see it, even if you couldn't feel it, even if you'd learned to doubt it. Now rest, now sleep, now let everything go. And as you sink even deeper into this rest, feel how your body is dissolving into the softness beneath you. There's no clear boundary anymore between where you end and where the bed begins. You're merging with the mattress, becoming part of the darkness, melting into the quiet. Your body is so heavy now, so profoundly relaxed, that movement seems impossible. Seems like something from another lifetime, something you used to do but have forgotten how to do. And that's exactly right. That's exactly where you should be, in this place of complete surrender, complete stillness, complete peace. Notice how your breathing has become almost imperceptible, just the faintest whisper of air moving in and out of your lungs. You're not breathing so much as being breathed, as if sleep itself is breathing you, as if the darkness is moving through you, as if you've become part of something larger than yourself, something ancient and peaceful and endlessly gentle. Your chest barely moves, your belly barely rises. The breath is there, constant and reliable, but so soft, so quiet, so peaceful that you can barely sense it anymore. Feel your face, completely smooth now, all the muscles released, all the tension gone. Your forehead is wide and calm, no furrow between your brows, no tightness anywhere. Your eyes are so heavy beneath your closed lids, resting deep in their sockets, no flutter, no movement. Just stillness and peace. Your cheeks are soft, your lips slightly parted, your jaw hanging loose and open. Every tiny muscle in your face has let go, has surrendered, has stopped working and started resting. And your neck, feel how soft it is now, how relaxed. All those muscles that work so hard all day to hold your head up, to keep you upright, to maintain your posture, they're all released now. Your head is sinking into the pillow, heavy and still, supported completely. Your throat is open and easy, your breathing flowing through without any restriction, without any effort. You don't have to do anything to keep breathing. Your body knows how. Your body is taking care of you while you sleep. Feel your shoulders melted completely into the mattress now. No holding left anywhere. They've dropped so far down from your ears, released so completely that they feel like they're part of the bed itself, like they've merged with the surface beneath you. And from your shoulders, feel the heaviness spreading down your arms, through your upper arms, through your elbows, through your forearms, all the way down to your wrists and hands and fingers. Your arms are so heavy, so completely relaxed, that they've forgotten how to move. They're just weight now, just stillness, just peace. Your hands are open and soft, palms facing whatever direction they've naturally fallen into, fingers curled slightly or straight, however they've settled. There's no tension in your hands, no gripping, no holding. They're completely released, completely at rest. Even the tiny muscles between your fingers, even the small muscles in your palms, everything has let go. And your chest, feel how it's barely moving now, just the gentlest expansion and contraction, just the softest breath. Your ribcage is heavy and still, your heart is beating steadily, reliably, doing its work without you, maintaining life without any conscious effort from you. You can trust your body. You can let it do what it knows how to do. You can rest completely while your body takes care of itself. Feel your upper back pressed into the mattress, supported and held. Feel how the bed rises up to meet you, how it cradles the curve of your spine, how it holds you without asking anything in return. Your middle back, your lower back, all of it heavy and still, sinking down, releasing into rest. Any tension that lives in your back, any holding that you carry there, it's all melting away now, dissolving into the softness, becoming part of the peace. And your belly, so soft now, so relaxed. No holding in your stomach, no tightness anywhere in your core. Your belly rises and falls gently with each breath, soft and easy, like water moving, like clouds drifting. All the muscles in your abdomen have released, have stopped working, have surrendered to rest. Your organs are doing their quiet work, your digestive system processing, your body healing and repairing while you sleep. All of it happening without you, all of it taken care of. Feel your hips, heavy and anchored, sinking into the bed. Your pelvis is stable and still, grounded and solid, and from your hips, feel the weight spreading down through your thighs, through your knees, through your calves, all the way down to your ankles and feet and toes. Your legs are so heavy now, like stone, like they're made of something impossibly dense and still. They've forgotten how to move. They're just weight, just heaviness, just peace. Your thighs are completely relaxed, all those large muscles released and soft. Your knees are loose, no tension anywhere around the joint. Your calves are heavy and still, sinking down into whatever surface they're resting on. And your feet, your ankles, your toes, all of it heavy and relaxed, released and peaceful. Even the small muscles in your feet, even the tendons and ligaments, everything has let go. You're completely still now, completely at rest. Your whole body has surrendered to sleep, has given itself over to the darkness, has stopped fighting and started resting. And in this stillness, in this peace, you can let your mind rest too. You can let your thoughts slow down even more, become even quieter, fade even further into the background until they're barely there at all. The thoughts about birthdays, about worth, about celebration, about all the patterns we've explored tonight, they're so distant now, like sounds from another room, like memories from another lifetime, like something that matters but doesn't need your attention right now. They can rest while you rest. They can sleep while you sleep. Everything can be still for these hours. Everything can be quiet. Everything can be at peace. You don't have to think about anything. You don't have to understand anything. You don't have to solve anything or fix anything or change anything. You can just be here, breathing softly, resting deeply, sinking further and further into sleep with each moment that passes. Sleep is holding you now. Sleep is carrying you. Sleep is taking you deeper and deeper into its gentle embrace, into its peaceful darkness, into its healing quiet. And as you drift even further, as consciousness becomes even more vague and distant, you might notice how good this feels, how right this feels, how your body has been waiting for this all day, how it's been longing for this moment when you finally stop and rest and let everything go. Your nervous system is downshifting into deep relaxation, into the healing state where repair happens, where restoration occurs, where your body does its deepest work. Your brain waves are slowing, shifting from the rapid patterns of waking thought into the slower rhythms of deep sleep. Your muscles are releasing tension they've held for hours, for days, maybe for years. Your breath is finding its most natural, most peaceful rhythm. Your heart is beating at its resting rate, steady and calm. Everything in your body is settling into the state it was designed for, the state of deep, restorative, healing sleep. You're safe here in this darkness, safe in this stillness, safe in this moment where nothing is threatening you, nothing is demanding from you, nothing is asking you to be anything other than exactly what you are. You can let go of all vigilance, all protection, all defense. You can rest completely and trust that you'll be okay, that morning will come when it's time, that for now you can just sleep and sleep and sleep. The night is long and peaceful. There are many hours ahead for sleeping, for dreaming, for resting in this deep, dark, quiet peace. You don't have to worry about time. You don't have to think about tomorrow. You can just be here now, sinking deeper and deeper, softer and softer, further and further into the most peaceful sleep. Feel how your breath is barely moving you now, just the faintest whisper of air, barely perceptible, like a secret the body is keeping, in and out, so gentle, so quiet, so peaceful. You're breathing the way you breathed when you were very young, when you were an infant, when sleep came easily and naturally and without resistance. That same innocence is available to you now, that same ease, that same peaceful surrender. Your mind is so quiet now. Thoughts are barely forming before they dissolve. You might have a fleeting image, a fragment of a dream, a wisp of a memory, but it fades before it becomes solid, before it demands your attention, before it pulls you back toward waking. Everything is soft and vague and distant, like looking through fog, like trying to remember something from long ago, like watching clouds drift by without holding on to any particular shape. And in this quiet, in this stillness, you can feel how deeply you're loved, not because of what you do or what you achieve or how useful you are, but simply because you exist. The universe itself celebrates your existence every moment, in the beating of your heart, in the flowing of your breath, in the life that moves through you. You don't have to earn this. You don't have to prove this. It's already true. It's always been true. You are loved, you are valued, you matter. And you can rest in that knowing, even if you can't quite hold on to it consciously, even if it feels too big or too unfamiliar. Somewhere in your body, somewhere in your being, you can feel the truth of it. You can sense it. And that sensing can help you rest even deeper, can help you let go even more completely, can help you surrender even more fully to this peaceful, healing sleep. Sleep is a gift you give yourself. Every night you have this opportunity to let go, to rest, to restore, to heal. And tonight you're taking that gift, you're accepting it fully. You're letting yourself have this deep, beautiful, peaceful rest that your body needs, that your mind needs, that your spirit needs. You're not fighting it. You're not resisting it. You're just sinking into it, melting into it, becoming one with it. And as you sink deeper still, you might notice that you're not even sure anymore if you're awake or asleep. The boundary has become so blurred, so vague, that you can't tell where one ends and the other begins. And that's perfect. That's exactly right. You're in that liminal space, that threshold space, that in-between place, where dreams begin to emerge, where consciousness fades, where sleep takes hold. You might see images behind your closed eyes, fragments of dreams beginning to form. You might hear sounds that aren't quite real, echoes from your unconscious mind. You might feel sensations that are part memory, part dream, part something else entirely. And all of it is okay. All of it is part of the journey into deep sleep. You don't have to make sense of it. You don't have to understand it. You can just let it happen, let it unfold, let it carry you deeper into rest. Your body is doing its healing work now. While you sleep, your cells are repairing themselves, your immune system is strengthening, your brain is processing the day, sorting through experiences, consolidating memories, clearing out what doesn't need to be kept. Your muscles are releasing tension, lengthening, relaxing. Your organs are restoring themselves. Everything in your body is working together to heal you, to restore you, to prepare you for another day. And you don't have to do anything except rest. You don't have to manage any of it. Your body knows what to do. Feel the darkness surrounding you, holding you, cradling you like a gentle parent. The darkness is not something to fear. It's something to rest in, something to trust, something to surrender to. The darkness is where all growth happens, where all transformation occurs, where all healing takes place. Seeds grow in the darkness of the soil. Babies grow in the darkness of the womb. Stars are born in the darkness of space. And you can grow and heal and transform in this darkness too. You're sinking so deep now, deeper than you've been in a long time, down past the surface of consciousness, down past the level of thought, down into the depths where there's only sensation and breath and being, down into the place where you're no longer trying to control anything, where you're no longer managing anything, where you're simply existing, simply breathing, simply being alive in the most basic, most fundamental way. And in this depth, in this darkness, in this peace, you can let go of everything you've been carrying about your birthday, about your worth, about whether you deserve to be celebrated. You can let go of all the stories, all the beliefs, all the patterns, not because you're fixing them or changing them or solving them, but simply because you don't need to carry them into sleep. They can rest while you rest. They can be still while you're still. And tomorrow, if you need to, you can pick them up again. But for now, you can let them go. You're so close to being completely asleep now. So close to crossing that final threshold to let it go of that last thread of awareness, to surrendering completely to unconsciousness. Just a little bit further, just a little bit deeper, just a little bit more letting go. Feel your breath, barely there now, just the faintest movement. Feel your body so heavy and still, impossible to move, merged with the bed, part of the darkness. Feel your mind so quiet, so vague, so distant, barely holding on to anything. You're almost gone, almost asleep, almost completely at rest. And you can let go now. You can release that last little bit of awareness. You can stop monitoring yourself. Stop checking to see if you're asleep yet. Stop trying to control the process. You can just let it happen. Let sleep take you. Let consciousness fade. Let yourself disappear into the soft, dark, peaceful depths of the deepest sleep. Sleep is here now, all around you, inside you, moving through you. It's gentle and patient and infinitely kind. It's been waiting for you all day, waiting for this moment when you finally stop and rest and let it hold you. And now you can surrender to it completely. You can give yourself over to it entirely. You can let it carry you through the night, through dreams, through the deep healing darkness, all the way to morning. You're safe. You're held. You're loved. You matter. You always have. And you can rest now deeply and completely knowing that everything is okay, that you're okay, that you can sleep peacefully and wake refreshed. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Sleep well. Let yourself go completely now. Let every last bit of consciousness fade away. Let yourself sink into the deepest, darkest, most peaceful sleep. There's nothing to hold on to anymore, nothing to think about, nothing to be except asleep. Just breathing, just being, just sleeping, deeply and peacefully and completely at rest. The night is yours, the darkness is yours, the peace is yours. Take it, receive it, rest in it. Sleep is holding you now, cradling you, carrying you through the hours ahead. You can trust it. You can surrender to it. You can let it do its healing work while you rest. Your breath continues soft and steady, even as awareness fades. Your heart continues beating, steady and reliable, even as you drift into unconsciousness. Your body continues its work, healing and restoring, even as you sleep. Everything is taken care of. Everything is okay. You can rest completely. And as the last wisps of thought dissolve, as the final fragments of awareness scatter and fade, you sink down into the deepest sleep, the most peaceful rest, the most healing darkness. Down and down and down, further and further, deeper and deeper into sleep so profound that nothing disturbs it, nothing interrupts it, nothing pulls you back toward waking. You are sleeping now, deeply, peacefully, completely. Your body is at rest. Your mind is quiet. Your breath is gentle. Your heart is calm. Everything is still. Everything is peaceful. Everything is exactly as it should be. Sleep, beautiful soul. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Sleep well. The night is long and gentle. You are safe and held. You are loved and valued. You matter. You always have. Now rest. Now sleep. Now let everything go into the peaceful darkness, into the healing quiet, into the gentle embrace of the deepest sleep. And you sleep. You sleep and sleep and sleep, sinking deeper and deeper into rest, into peace, into the healing darkness that holds you gently through the night. Your breath continues soft and steady. Your heart continues calm and reliable. Your body continues its healing work. And you rest, completely and peacefully in the deepest, most restorative sleep. The darkness surrounds you like a soft blanket, like gentle arms, like the most comfortable embrace. You are held, you are safe, you are at peace, and you sleep deeply and completely through the quiet hours of the night, through the gentle darkness, through the healing rest that your body needs and deserves. Sleep now, sleep deeply, sleep peacefully, sleep well. You are worthy of this rest. You are deserving of this peace. You matter. You have always mattered. And you can sleep now, fully and completely, knowing that you are okay, that everything is okay, that you can rest without worry, without fear, without any holding back. Just sleep, just rest, just peace, breathing softly, being gently, sleeping deeply. The night holds you, the darkness cradles you. Sleep carries you through hours and hours of peaceful, healing, restorative rest. You are safe, you are held, you are loved. And you sleep deeply and peacefully, completely at rest. Sleep, 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 deep and soft and quiet and peaceful. Nothing to do, nothing to be, nothing to think about. Just sleeping, just resting, just being held by the gentle night. Your breath continues, barely perceptible. Your body rests completely still. Your mind quiets, releasing all thought. And you sleep deeply and peacefully in the most beautiful healing rest. And the sleep continues, hour after hour, deep and peaceful and undisturbed. Your body healing, your mind resting, your spirit restoring. Everything in you is at peace. Everything in you is still. Everything in you is held by the gentle darkness, cradled by the quiet night, supported by the healing power of deep, restorative sleep. You sleep through the night, peaceful and undisturbed, held safely by the darkness, carried gently by sleep. Your breath continues its soft rhythm. Your heart maintains its steady beat. Your body does its healing work, and you rest completely and deeply in the most peaceful sleep, the most restorative rest, the most gentle darkness. Sleep, beautiful soul. Sleep deeply and peacefully. Sleep completely and restfully. You are safe. You are held. You are loved. You matter. And you can rest now, fully and completely, in the deep, peaceful, healing sleep that carries you through the quiet hours of the night, through the gentle darkness, through the restorative rest that your whole being needs. And you sleep. You sleep. You sleep. Deeply, peacefully, completely at rest. The night is yours. The peace is yours. The healing is yours. Take it. Receive it. Rest in it. Sleep through the night, held safely, loved completely, resting deeply in the most peaceful, beautiful sleep. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Sleep well. You are worthy. You are valuable. You matter. And you can rest completely, knowing that you are okay, that everything is okay, that you can sleep peacefully through the night and wake refreshed in the morning. Sleep, rest, peace, deeply and completely and beautifully at rest. The night continues its gentle watch over you. The darkness holds you safely, and sleep carries you through hours of deep, peaceful, restorative rest. You are completely at peace, completely at rest, completely held by the loving darkness, the healing quiet, the gentle embrace of the deepest, most beautiful sleep. And you rest, you sleep, you heal, deeply, peacefully, completely. Breath by breath, moment by moment, hour by hour, held safely by the night, cradled gently by the darkness, restored completely by the deep, peaceful, healing sleep that is your birthright, your gift, your rest. Sleep, beautiful one. Sleep deeply. Sleep peacefully. Sleep well. You are safe. You are held. You are loved. You matter. You have always mattered. And you can rest now, completely and peacefully, in the deepest, most beautiful sleep. Rest. Peace. Sleep. Deeply and completely and peacefully at rest.